is no shortcut, just like everything else in this life that we're in right now. The topic at hand was the love of Ahlul Bayt in our sources. What do our sources say about this love? Because we've heard a lot of good things about what this love can do for us. What this love can do for us, the wonders that it can do for us. The question that was addressed was that in the beginning, is this love something that will work unconditionally, or certain conditions have to be met? And of course, we had a discussion about that. That this love, even if there are no conditions, still can do us great things. But to get maximum results from that love, certain conditions have to be met. Where are we getting these conditions from? From different ahadith, different verses of the Quran. Brothers and sisters, it just doesn't work like this, that you can have one hadith or one verse of the Quran regarding something and you'd be like, okay, that's it. This is what everything that Islam has to say about this certain concept, this certain notion. No, usually it's not the case. Usually they have to come together. Different bits and pieces of the literature have to come together to form the bigger picture. That's where we can draw a conclusion. That's where the work of the scholars really comes into the picture. So, this love has benefits, the conditions for it. We went through the first condition 2 nights ago. What was that? That first of all, man ahabbana lillah. That the Ahlul Bayt tell us themselves, whoever loves us for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there were some points relevant to us today even. As people, as younger people, most of us inshallah, me being one of you guys especially of course, trying to do more and more for Ahlul Bayt because of our love for them. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to be the ultimate goal. We talked about that in depth. The second condition which we covered last night was how this love, if we're going to have it and we want to maximize on it, we have to make sure that we don't have this love and then have expectations next to it too. Because the expectations that we sometimes have, either they are fulfilled or they're not fulfilled. In both cases, it's going to hurt us. If the expectation I have, oh Imam Hussein, I cried for you for 10 days. Yeah? I remembered you for 10 days. I did all of that from the beginning with this intention that, you're going to have to do something back for me. This tone, it just doesn't work in Islam. It doesn't work in the maktab and the school of Ahlul Bayt. That I did it when I had an expectation from the beginning. As I said last night, it's perfectly fine to want something, to do dua for something. But the perspective has to be right. That I did all of what I did, oh Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And there is something that I would also like, if you can, please, out of your grace, do that for me. Intercede between me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be the medium between me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this thing that I need to also be resolved. That's good. That is a good tone. That is good perspective. This perspective of, yeah, I did this, so then, I'm waiting for the return of investment, as if. This understanding, this perspective is wrong, is problematic. Why? Either that which you have an expectation of is fulfilled or it's not. If it is fulfilled, then that just might be the only reward I get as a result of the love that I had for them. Allah says, this is what you wanted, here you go. No problem. And then on the Day of Judgment, when I see people reaping the rewards, I'm going to be like, man, I fell behind. I fell short of what these people are reaping now. So we have to be careful about that. Once again, it's if you want things in return, it's fine. Expectation, that word is key here. As if, they owe us something. No. Either the expectations I have are fulfilled or they're not. If they're not fulfilled, well, first of all, I didn't get anything here. 1. 2, since my intention was flawed in that love that I had for them, just like if your intention for your salah is flawed and you're doing it for the praise of others, that salat is going to be batil and void. This love also, since the intention wasn't right, you won't get the most out of it. Think about it. Someone does their salah for others to praise them. Now, sometimes they praise them. Sometimes this person prays so nicely and gets praised as a result. Okay, he got what he wanted. Allah, this is what you wanted. Here you go. Sometimes this person does it for that intention, with that intention in mind, and still doesn't get praise. That's khasirat dunya wal akhirah. You lost your salat, and you didn't get the praise you were after. That's a lose-lose kind of situation there, right? In addition to all of that, there was one more thing here that we talked about last night as well, was that, hey, if your expectations are not fulfilled, yes, your intention was flawed, and maybe you're going to lose out on a lot, but what's even scary is that as a person sees that certain expectations are not met, slowly they might even end up questioning the concept itself. Who says love of Ahlul Bayt is important? His definition or her definition of love of Ahlul Bayt was what? Love of Ahlul Bayt equals expectations being fulfilled. Since expectations are not being fulfilled, then that probably means love of Ahlul Bayt is not even necessary. It might reach that point. And I cited a verse or two about that as well, that there were people during the Prophet's time, their Islam was hanging by a thread. If something good would happen to them, alhamdulillah, this is the right religion. If something good didn't happen, some people actually, their faith is like this. I was watching a mockumentary once. The guy who used to be Jewish had turned Christian. Okay? Now the guy who made this documentary and is mocking religion in this documentary, he asked that ex-Jew, current Christian, said, what was the reason you converted? You know what his answer was? He said, I was in the car with a friend one day, my Christian friend, when I was Jewish. My Christian friend told me, why don't you embrace Christianity? I said, I don't see a reason to. He said, why don't you ask Jesus Christ for something? If it's fulfilled, then that shows that it's the truth. And if it's not fulfilled, then you don't have to convert to Christianity. Just like that, he says, I said, okay, if Jesus Christ, if you're Lord, then make it rain right now. I put my hand out the window, and all of a sudden it started raining. Yeah? It started raining. And so he says, I embrace the faith. This is how some people's faith is. No. It's supposed to, your faith is supposed to be based on reason and logic and thinking things out, weighing things out, looking around you. Where did all of this come from? That kind of thing. And then slowly making your way down from a God to which prophet I'm going to follow, which book I'm going to follow, all of that, right? Not that if it just so happened to rain, that, okay, then that shows, that was a coincidence, my friend, I'm sorry. They say, I haven't looked this up, but they say that Shaitan would wake Muawiyah up every night for Salat al-Layl. If a person like Muawiyah is praying Salat al-Layl, it will confuse people even more, right? That this person, is after establishing Islam. Yeah? Shaitan, man, he's got a bag full of tricks. I know, he's the oldest guy, actually. He's been at this for a while, He's the oldest guy we have today, living since God knows when. The angel's time, Prophet Adam, when he was created. So the guy probably knows how to do things. Now anyway, I don't want to go deep into that. These are some of the conditions. I've decided to have one more condition tonight, and I'm going to elaborate on it more and tomorrow as well, because it's the most important one, the third condition. For love of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam to have the desired effect, for us to take maximum benefit from that love. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Alright, this third condition, as you probably guessed, will have to do with our action. The hadith by Amir al-Mu'mineen says that man ahabbana, the one who loves us, فَلْيَعْمَلْ بِعَمَلِنَا. Don't you hate that part? It's like when you now I'm also a culprit here, and I'm guilty of this as well. Just recently this happened. You download that app that's going to keep you in check with your diet, right? You know who you are. The app tells you that you get sold on the advertisement, the marketing of that the app. It comes up on your feed, and you're like, whoa, learn more, swipe up. Fine, swiping up doesn't take too much energy. You swipe up, and then it really sells it to you that this is it right here. We're gonna 10 minutes a day. If you give us 10 minutes a day, you will reach goals. You will make them gains. Right? And so what happens is, you download the app. It asks you for your name and email. I actually stopped right there. Okay. Now some of you are more motivated than me. So you give your full name. You give that information it asks you. But then when the time comes, when it actually says, okay, now today this is what you got to do. The first day, maybe the second day, but then after that you're like, okay, forget it. You put it aside. Inshallah, just the fact that I downloaded the app on my phone will have an effect on my health. Let's just go with the placebo effect. So here, we talked about lillah, for Allah. Don't have expectations, all that stuff we talked about. But then it reaches a point, it says, okay, now it's time to put your sleeves up. You downloaded the app, but now you got to get to work a little. Man ahabbana faly'amal bi'amalina. The one who loves us has to act the way we act. فَلْيَعْمَلْ بِعَمَلِنَا, should act according to our actions. Amir al-Mu'minin. Right here, someone may say, okay, let's not go on. Let's wait. Just hold your horses right there. Let's talk about this a little bit. Is it even possible for us to become like Ahlul Bayt? The Imam says, whoever loves us has to act according to our actions. Right there, someone say that's impossible. They're ma'soom. They have a special ma'rifah and cognition of God that allows them to do what they're doing. We can't be just like them. But brothers and sisters, that's not what the hadith said. What did the hadith say? فَلْيَعْمَلْ بِعَمَلِنَا. Their actions and our actions, there should be some sort of, they should be from the same genre. What do the Ahlul Bayt do? Do they lie? No. Cheat? No. Steal? No. Backbite? No. Hurt each other's feelings? No. Okay, so I can try to be like that. No one said pray 1,000 rak'ah a night. What else do they do? Well, when it comes to worship, they worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They enjoy worship. We'll talk about this more later. Future nights maybe. They recite Quran. You know, it hurts. Sometimes I'm like, man, Shia should be the ones who are known for their Quranic recitation. Sometimes you feel like it's the Shia who are known more for latum and others are known for Quran. You know what I'm saying? The ashab of the Imams, they were the best in the Quran. Muslim bin Awsaja in Masjid Kufa, how was he identified? They were looking for somebody that is the Shia of Imam Hussein. They found somebody that was the best in his qira'ah of Quran. They said, this must be a Shia. Back then it was like that. Now it's who can do the best in latum or latmi. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what would they do? These guys, these Ahlul Bayt, they were the best in Quran. I'll try to be like that. I'll try to be good at Quran. What else do? They help others. They work hard. Yes. Oh my God. One of the biggest aspects of the life of Ahlul Bayt is how much hard work they do, to the extent that some people say, oh, are you in love with the dunya or something? They're like, no. We work hard. We take care of this world, this earth. We make use of it the way we need to for our akhirah, and we go. Goodbye. That's how it is. فَلْيَعْمَلْ بِعَمَلِنَا. That means when you look at these actions, you see that you look at there, you see somewhat of a match. You see somewhat that these two kind of are of the same genre, at least. Not the exact opposite. I love Imam Ali alayhi salam. I love Imam Hussein alayhi salam. But then my amal is not like his at all. There's no overlap. Well, then you know what that's like? That's like what this example that I'm about to give you. Why is it that this condition is so important? By the way, I don't know about you guys, but I can't use that word guys anymore. I don't know about you brothers and sisters, but this hadith isn't saying something like crazy out of this world. Some of our hadiths and lots of our hadiths, they sometimes are just shaking us a little bit and reminding us of something that we could have understood ourselves. It's very clear. It's common sense. This condition is common sense. Let me give you an example so that, we can acknowledge that it's very clear. So let's say you've been in pain for a long time. There's something that's wrong with your body. You go to different doctors and physicians. They just can't figure it out, what's wrong. And eventually you find the one. After a couple of years of looking, you finally find the one who has the remedy. And this guy's so humble and helps you out and spends time and cares for you, and you are actually getting better. That pain that I had in my arm is going. The other ones couldn't fix it. This one fixed it for me. Of course, you're going to really like this person, right? Because they have the remedy for you. You know where I'm getting at. I want to see if you guys can guess where I'm getting at. So you fall in love with this doctor. Why? Because everything that you could ask for is in this doctor. You really like them. There's no reason for you to hate them, except maybe that, he was rooting for the Warriors in the finals last year. We're in Toronto, right? Gonna ever happen again, probably. But anyway, let's go back to what we're talking about. You're gonna love this person. You're gonna think about them a lot because that's where all the good stuff is right now for you. You just want to get rid of this pain. You're going to go around telling the world about how wonderful this person is. People, did you know this guy could, there was tons of others that I went to. They could not figure out my problem, but this one did. And you talk about how good they are, how kind they are, all that kind of stuff. So now the big day comes for the surgery or whatever it is, the prescription that they want to give you, and you get the prescription, you're like, thank you, I love you, you're the best. And you put that prescription in your pocket and you never use it. Isn't that dumb? Common sense, brothers and sisters. Now let's apply this example to Ahlul Bayt. Those who have a Quranic worldview, have a Quranic perspective, think about akhirah, and know it's coming, wholeheartedly, they know it's coming, they know that there's a need that they have. Just like the guy that was sick, had some pain, and needed to address that pain. We have a need. And what is that need? To fix our akhirah. Yeah. So that's on our mind all the time. How do we fix it? And then all of a sudden you have somebody. You have somebody who has that remedy, who has that prescription, and can tell you what it takes to secure it. So what are you going to do? You're going to fall in love with them. You get what I'm saying? We're talking about love of Ahlul Bayt, right? I fall in love with this person because of all the merits and all the remedies and everything that I could ask for is all in this person. I'm not even going to stop at that. I'm going to go around letting the world know how good a person this is, how awesome they are. Now there's a difference between this one, this imam or this prophet, versus that physician. The physician at the end of the day is going to go home, is going to drive around in their car, and will see you at the doctor's office. Prophet, they say, Khan dawar bitubbihi. With his medicine, of course, the spiritual medicine that he had, he was dawar bitubbihi. He would go home to home. He was your family physician. So that's even more of a reason to fall in love. So I'm going to tell the world how awesome they are, right? Some people, they'll stop there. As a matter of fact, sometimes you get the feeling that, whoa, like you actually get the feeling that some people, when they're speaking, they will speak of fada'il, merits, 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 and the lecture's over. You're like, okay, maybe tomorrow they'll talk about, something more practical. Actually, what are the teachings of these people who have all these fada'il, merits, merits, merits? Tomorrow is also merits, merits, merits. After a while, you're like, you get the feeling that we're just sounding like, hey, people, my leader, my spiritual figure is better than yours. Sometimes you get the feeling, my Imam Ali is better than your Khalifa. Sometimes you get that feeling. Well, so what if he's better? Okay, we know that part. It's good and it's necessary to discuss all of that as well. But in the end, the prescription that this Imam has and the remedies that he has, are they going to be put to practice or not? So this third condition is something that doesn't take too much work to understand. But the Quran will allude to this and remind us as well and shake us. I'm going to share two verses with you, famous verses that you've heard, to let us know that no, it's all about practice in the end and putting things into action. The first one, the Quran says, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. The Prophet, for you will find, in the Prophet, you will find for yourselves the proper example to follow. To follow. Example means when someone's a role model, when someone's an example, what does that mean? That means you're supposed to follow them. This person is my role model, but I just took a picture of him and put him on my wall. Well, for what? So that I can just see him every day. For what? Eventually it has to end with so that I can try to be like them. You walk into people's rooms, they got pictures of athletes. They got pictures of bodybuilders. They got pictures of sometimes sheikhs. It's very obvious why those pictures are there. Because it'll be a reminder you have to be like this person. Take the steps to reach this, to become a person like this. Follow the footsteps. It's all about following. That's why the verse of the Quran very clearly says, another verse, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهِ. We're talking about hubb, right? This verse is very relevant here. قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهِ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهِ. That look, it's all about love, right? Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The verse says that you love. قُل, tell the people, O Prophet, it's all about love, right? That's the topic of our lectures. If you, O people, in kuntum tuhibbun Allah, you love Allah, fattabi'uni, follow me, and then yuhbibkum Allah back. Allah will love you back. It's not a one-way road, it's two-way. Love is two ways, brothers and sisters. No one can say, I love, but then there's no practice. There's no action. No. That's why I just want to end with this hadith here. It's important as well. If it's all about action. And tomorrow night, we're going to actually go into a hadith that's a scary. I'm going to call it the scary hadith. Right? Right now, I'm sounding all friendly and stuff. Tomorrow night, we're going to be a little more mean. Okay? Because slowly we've warmed up. We've gotten closer and closer to what we want to get to. Tomorrow night, it's going to be the mean hadith, where Imam al-Baqir, he's going to go all out on us. Okay? When it comes to how much we emulate, how much we try to take as an example these individuals and follow their footsteps. It's scary. And then the night after, all the benefits that come after as a result of that love. All right? When we talk about these three conditions, brothers and sisters, someone might get the idea that, you know what? All right, it's that love that's all important, but actions are everything. And slowly you edge towards this understanding of it's only actions that matter now. Yeah? The Imam Ali says, I did not see the jahil, the ignorant one, the one who doesn't have enough information, enough understanding, except on this side of the extreme or that side of the extreme. إِلَّا مُفْرِطًا أَوْ مُفَرِّطًا. Right? Someone might be like, all right, you know what? I think it's all love. It's all about love. And pushes. Then he comes to my lecture, of course. I tell him, no, it's all about action. And so after that, he's like, okay, it's all about action now. It is actions that are going to get us anywhere we're going to get to. The Imams are only a channel for me to know what I need to do. Once I know what I need to do, I'll put that aside. I'll just do what I need to do. That is the active ingredient. That's all that matters, right? No, that's not the case either. If we're sitting up here talking about how this love is a means, it's a channel, man ahabbana lillah, that is supposed to get us to Allah. Is it like those rocket ships that go up into the air, and once they're done and they get into out the atmosphere, and they're in the orbit of the moon or whatever, then they can detach those fuel tanks, and those fuel tanks are expendable. You just throw them away, disposable. Is that the love of Ahlul Bayt? Is that what it's all about? Some people might think like that too, because yes, the Imams have stressed a lot on this. That actions. We're going to have the mean hadith tomorrow night, okay? Oh God, some people are going to call me out on this. Why'd you say mean hadith? You know what I'm talking about, right? It's like a harsher tone, trying to wake us up. Some people will go farther though, and they'll say, okay, so it's all about actions. So love of Ahlul Bayt was there to get us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After that, we don't need them. We don't need the love of them. Or some people might say, we don't need their love, we need our actions, and that's it. All right, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam told me that salat is to be prayed like this. Imam al-Baqir told me that Hajj has to be performed like this. It's interesting, one of our teachers was saying this, that one of the most detailed hadiths about the Hajj and how the Hajj is to be performed. Remember the first night I was talking about this for you guys who were here. We talked about Hajj and how the Prophet taught the people how the Hajj is supposed to be done after it had been tainted with shirk. One of the most famous hadiths is by Imam al-Baqir, where in the Sunni sources, it's so cool, that Ahl Sunnah, this is according to my teacher, I did find the hadith way back in the day. I remember I checked it too. It's a long hadith. By who? Imam al-Baqir. We have the hadith, and the most detailed hadith they have for Hajj too is from Imam al-Baqir, because at the end of the day they look at him as who? As a great alim. We don't believe like that, but they do. The most detailed hadith is by Imam Baqir on hadith. He says this. He says on authority of my father, on authority of his father, that the Prophet did the Hajj like this, and it's a long hadith. Anyway, some of us might come to the conclusion that that's all we need them for. We get the knowledge from them. This is how to be to do the deen, how to uphold the deen. These are the rituals, and after that, okay, we're not going to care anymore about that part. We have Allah and we have Islam now. We have a hadith that I want to share with you that refutes this, that no, this is not the case either. Don't fall on the other extreme. The hadith says, La tada'u. Now, I heard someone speaking about this. When I looked the hadith up, it wasn't part of the hadith. So I don't know where they got it from, but I'll quote him. So the onus and responsibility is on him to prove where he got it from. But he said, he's a great scholar, he said that some people, after Imam al-Rida had gone from Medina to Khurasan, Shia were in love with him, of course. Imam al-Rida had a special status, even amongst other Muslims that were not Shia. Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, he was so high in the eyes of all Muslims that the Imams that ensued after him, they were referred to as Ibn al-Rida. Of course, Imam Jawad was the son of Imam Rida, but Imam Hadi and Imam Askari also, when you look at different stories and reports, you find that they refer to Imam Hadi, Imam Askari as Ibn al-Rida, the son of the Rida. These people, this Shia for sure are going to be in love with him if this is how all Muslims love him. So it says they had walked barefoot to Khurasan to meet him. Their feet were beat up, bloody, tired. They come to Imam al-Rida. So this is the manifestation of ultimate love, as much love as one can have, that they walk all the way to Khurasan just to see their Imam. Okay, so this is the context. This is the matan and the text of the hadith now. The Imam, he says, لا تدع العمل الصالح والاجتهاد في العبادة اتكالا على حب آل محمد. What does that mean? That don't put aside and don't leave al-amal as-salih. Don't put aside good deeds. Yes? Ittikalan, relying on hub al-Muhammad, the love of al-Muhammad. Why? Well, we just covered why. Because in the end, that love is supposed to bring and entail this with it. Action. Right? So someone here will say, okay, we're good. So that's what Ahlul Bayt are for, to reach that. You know, the whole question that I brought up right now. To reach that information that we need to reach, to learn about actions and act. So we don't need that anymore. He says the flip side too, though. He goes on. ولا تدعوا حب آل محمد حب آل محمد عليه السلام والتسليم لأمرهم اتكالا على العبادة. He says the flip side too. He says, and don't just have actions and rely on actions and ibadah and worship and then put aside submission to Ahlul Bayt and love of Ahlul Bayt either. Both of them go hand in hand. I mean, come on, brothers and sisters. Isn't that what things like Hadith al-Thaqalain tell us? That if the Quran and Ahlul Bayt are not going to separate until we meet the Prophet, inshallah, inshallah, next to that fountain of Jannah, Al-Hud, means that you can't separate the two. So someone will say, but you were sounding like this is the channel to that, and so we won't need it after that. Brothers and sisters, I just want to give you an example to illustrate how this works. When we say wudu, it's necessary to make wudu. What does that mean? It's necessary to make wudu. I'm sitting here. Do I have to make wudu? No, I don't. It's not wajib. It is a mustahab act. As a matter of fact, it is an ibadah itself, in and of itself. In and of itself. You make wudu before you sleep, for example. Oh my God, like how much that'll affect every breath you take in that sleep. They say is worship of Allah. You know, it's good to sometimes be smart. You know, about these things. You know, you find some of those easy reward or thawabs. Why not? You know, you're sitting in the bus. You're sitting in the bus. You can either think about nothing and nothingness, or you can send a couple salawats or something. Every salawat you send is going to make a difference on Yawm al-Qiyamah. You'll see the difference in that one salat. On the Day of Judgment, a person who did 1,000 versus a person who did 999, they will feel the difference. Why not? If I'm just sitting there, let me make the most of my time. Let me be efficient and make the most of this life that Allah has granted me. Yes, time is money, but ukhrawi money. Anyway, what are we talking about? We're talking about how with this wudu itself can be ibadah to the extent that it will affect all my night and my sleep. It'll affect nur. It is nur, some of the hadith tell us. Like someone just wants to make some rewards, make some ukhrawi money. What do? Make wudu. Why not? That's one of the good things that you have in the house, one of the good practices. Everyone's in wudu. Sometimes you would pray without wudu because you're always in wudu. Sometimes you would think you're in wudu and you would pray, you find out, oh my God, I don't have wudu. That's a good problem, not a bad problem. That a person is always in wudu, that they think that they had it and they prayed without it and they found out later. That's a good problem versus the one that might not pray at all, you know? Anyway, wudu is something that in and of itself is an ibadah, a form of ibadah. But just because it's a form of ibadah itself doesn't mean it's going to be totally irrelevant to all other forms of worship as well. So, this ibadah is also a condition for salat. You know what I'm I'm saying? Salat without wudu doesn't count. But does that mean that wudu isn't worth anything in and of itself? Huh? No, that doesn't mean that at all. It is an ibadah itself. In addition, it's a condition for other things as well. As a matter of fact, that shows how awesome it is. So in this example that I gave you, love of Ahlul Bayt is a means, is a condition for Allah's satisfaction, is a way of reaching that information that we need for the deen and practicing the deen. But that doesn't mean that in and of itself it's not going to be worth too much either. So once we have learned what we need to know about Islam, we can put that aside. No, the Imam here, he really emphasizes that. After these people have gone through that journey and through that hardship really, to reach this point, he tells them, hey, don't think this is going to compensate for action, but at the same time, don't think it's all about action either. Both of them have to be there. This is something that we find throughout our sources, and this is something that is unanimously accepted by all schools of thought, that you have to have love of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salatu wassalam. Allahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Risale salawat. They say that when Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam reached Karbala, before he reached it, the reason why he even went towards Karbala, although it was time to go, he was trying to make his way towards Kufa. But on the way, they intercepted him. On the way to Kufa, they intercepted him. He wasn't supposed to go to Karbala. They intercepted him. Who was that one that intercepted him? It was Hur bin Yazid al-Riyahi. Intercepted this caravan. They intercepted the caravan. Abu Abdullah al-Hussein from afar and his caravan see that the army, some people are coming closer and closer. These riders are coming closer and closer. And so once this little army reaches Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, it is Hur bin Yazid and his people. 1,000 riders, they say. 1,000 riders. And when they reach Imam Hussein, it says that they were panting. They're panting and they're thirsty. Can we get the lights? And they're thirsty. And so what does Imam Hussein do? This is a lesson for all those who are going to come on Ashura. This is going to be a lesson for all of them after they kill Imam Hussein. That they see that Imam Hussein, he orders that his people to take water for them. They're panting, they're thirsty. He doesn't even ask them, what are you here for? He just says, bring them water for now. And so they start giving water to these people. 1,000 riders. 1,000 horsemen drinking. And since they're thirsty, they say they were drinking so fast that water was spilling from both sides of their mouth. Because they didn't have time to open up these water sacks properly. The top wasn't open properly. So they say Imam Hussein himself would come and open up the water sack for them in a way that they could drink more comfortably. And not only that, brothers and sisters, he also gave water to the animals and the horses. This is a lesson so that later on, if the day of Ashura comes, you don't hold back on water when there are people who need water. So I want you to keep that in mind, and we'll remember this in the end of these masa'ib. Hur bin Yazid, what is wrong? What's going on? What are you here for? He says, we're here to let you know that you have to come with us. He says, we're going to Kufa. He says, no, you have to come with us. Oh, we can't come to Kufa? Then let us go back to Medina. He says, no, you can't go back to Medina either. We have orders to take you in. He says, he gets very angry here, they say. Abu Abdullah knows the day is coming. Takalatka ummuk. May your mother weep over you. What do you want? Let us go. You have made us come from Medina to Mecca, all the way in the deserts with a bunch of women and children and a few soldiers and companions. And then now you're stopping us here in the middle of nowhere. And they don't listen. And he gets upset. He says, may your mother weep over you. You know what Hur says in return? Back then, until today, if someone mentions somebody's mother, not in a good way, then they find that disrespectful. Of course, Imam Hussein didn't say it in a disrespectful way. He's saying, may you die, and your mother weeps for you. He says, Abu Abdullah, if anyone else other than you had mentioned my mother, I would have made sure to retaliate. What can I do that your mother is Fatima Zahra? And so he keeps that respect. Good for you, Hur. Good for you. Brothers and sisters, we will always have those crossroads in our lives make the right decision. Please, we have to make the right decisions because it might change the path of our life forever. With our parents, with our siblings, with our friends, whoever it is. He keeps the respect here. As the days go by, as more and more army comes in from Kufa and other places, Hur sees that, whoa, things are serious. It looks like they're going to actually fight Imam Hussein. They didn't tell us we're going to kill him. They said take him in. The day of Ashura arrives, he sees himself on either the path of Jahannam or the path of paradise. He has to choose now. And good for him, he makes the right choice. He makes the right choice and flees from the army of Umar ibn Sa'd all the way to the army of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And they say Imam Hussein was waiting for him. And he comes in and he takes him in. Abu Abdullah, I'm sorry. If it wasn't for me, all of this wouldn't have happened. Look at the graveness of the sin, brothers and sisters. That Hur, if he had not done what he did, Karbala might not have happened. This is how much hope we have to have. That still Abu Abdullah says, there's time, don't worry, come. We were waiting for you. Dismount your horse. Let me take you in my arms. No, oh Imam Hussein, let me go and fight these people. How dare they fight the son of the daughter of the Holy Prophet, and I have put fear in the hearts of the children. Let me go and fight. Abu Abdullah lets him go and fight. He goes and fights valiantly. They say he fought so hard, it reached the point that blood was coming out of the ears of this horse that he was on. The horse can't even take it anymore. 40-something people he sends to Jahannam, but eventually Hur comes to the ground. Abu Abdullah comes over his body, comes next to his body, and he says to him, Anta hurrun kama sammatka ummuk. What a free man you were. That you chose the right path. You are free, just like the way your mother named you. Brothers and sisters, this was Hur. And he leaves this dunya going to Jannah. But now let's move and remember what we said in the beginning. When they came to Abu Abdullah, he gave them water. He gave them the animals even water. But I want to go into those final moments of Imam Hussein now. What happened? Did they learn from this story? Did they take lesson from it? That when somebody's thirsty, first you quench their thirst, then you see what they have to say. It says that it was in these moments that Nafi' bin Hilal said, I saw his dry lips moving. Abu Abdullah in the Maqtal is laying in those final moments, breathing his last. He says, I saw his lips moving. What's he saying? He wants water. I couldn't hold back anymore, he says. I went and put some water in my shield and came back to give it to him. As I approached the Qatligah where Abu Abdullah was dying, a mal'oon was coming out where the Imam laid. He said, where are you going? I said, I'm taking him some water. He said, you wasted your time. He put aside his cloak and behold, the head of Abu Abdullah. They killed Hussein with dry lips, brothers and sisters. He said to him, if you did what you did and you killed him, why are you trembling? He said, as I was doing the job, as I was beheading Hussein, I heard a mother cry out, Bunayya, my son Abu Abdullah, فرفع على القناة رأس الحسين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين وعجل اللهم في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان صلوا على محمد وآل محمد